anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Welcome to the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. We are a spiritually alive, radically inclusive, and justice-centered community. We are so glad that you are here. Let us open our time by affirming, it is good to be. It is good to be here. It is so good to be here together. We have a few announcements to share. First, one of our beloved longtime elders in our community passed away, Don Price. We will honor Don's life at a memorial service in our sanctuary and on Zoom next Sunday, June 27th at 1 p.m. Don's family and friends are invited to join either in person or online. A Wheel of Life email will be sent shortly with the Zoom link. 2. Our denomination's virtual General Assembly will be held this coming week, beginning Wednesday, June 23rd. It is exciting to be together with thousands of our fellow UUs from across the country. I encourage you to register today and to learn more at www.uua.org/GA. There will be many highlights, including Stacey Abrams and Desmond Meade for the Ware Lecture. 3. Our offering this week will be split 50-50 between the Morristown UU Fellowship and the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance, which is an alliance of New Jersey organizations and individuals committed to creating healthy, sustainable, and just communities by eliminating environmental injustices in low-income neighborhoods and communities of color. Finally, today is a special day for our community as we mark the milestone of our bridging seniors completing our religious education program for children and youth. It isn't a graduation because we are never done with life's biggest questions or the religious journey. It lasts our whole lives. Yet, our seniors have reached a significant moment on the journey, and all of us, all the children and youth and all the adults, take time to celebrate them. It also happens to be Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, grandfathers, uncles, and mentors in our lives. We celebrate the adults who help raise our children. And we also acknowledge that this can be a day that holds grief and challenge for some. Welcome David and Asher, who will light our chalice this morning with the dads and mentors who give the gift of love and pass on their light in mind.
For sleepless nights awaiting the curfew breakers.
For anxious hours as the driving instructor.
For hours spent on sidelines cheering.
And watching school plays, sometimes resting your eyes.
For the pressure of breadwinning.
And wait till your father gets home.
For teaching moments and mentoring moments.
For making up answers when you just don't know.
But are expected to because you know everything.
For scrapes and boo-boo kisses and band-aids.
For hugs and kisses and silliness and play.
For bedtime stories and early morning ice time.
For all the aftershave and tot is received as gifts.
For handing over the car keys and waves goodbye.
For father-daughter wedding dances.
And cradling grandchildren for the first time.
For all the moments and all the meaning in the role of a lifetime.
We light our chalice for fathers and for fatherhood. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. This rose. I know my fears. I know this fears. I know my fear. I know this fear. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know my fears. I know my fears. I know my fear. I know this fear. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose will open.
Malala's Magic Pencil by Malala Yousafzai, illustrated by Kerascoët. Do you believe in magic? When I was younger, I used to watch a TV show about a boy who had a magic pencil. If he was hungry, he drew a bowl of curry, and it appeared. If he and his friends were in danger, he drew a police officer. The boy was a little hero, always protecting people who needed help. If I had a magic pencil, I would use it to put a lock on my door so my brothers couldn't bother me, stop time so I could sleep an extra hour every morning, erase the smell of the trash dump near our house. And I would use it to make other people happy. I would draw the most beautiful dresses in the world for my mother, the best buildings in the valley for my father, so he could open many schools where children would study for free. A proper ball, so my brothers and I no longer had to play with an old sock stuffed with rubbish. Every night before I went to bed, I wished for a magic pencil of my own, and every morning I would wake up and check my cupboard, but the magic pencil was never there. One day, I was throwing away potato peels and eggshells at the dump. I was wrinkling my nose, swatting away flies, and making sure I didn't step on anything dirty in my nice shoes, when I saw a girl about my age sorting trash into piles. Nearby, boys were fishing for metal scraps using magnets on strings. When my father returned home from work, I told him what I'd seen. It made him sad. "Abba," I said.
Yes, Johnny.
He said back, "I always liked it when he called me dear one." "Why haven't I seen that girl in my class?"
Because,
he said, but he couldn't finish right away.
Johnny, in our country, not everyone sends their daughters to school, and some children must work to support their family. Those boys will sell the metal scraps they find. If they went to school, their families would go hungry.
School was my favorite place, but I had never considered myself lucky to be able to go. My father had always said,
Malala will live free as a bird.
Now I wondered how free I'd truly be. That night I thought about families who didn't have enough food, and the girl who couldn't go to school, and even about how when I was older I would be expected to cook and clean for my brothers, because where I came from, many girls weren't allowed to become what they dreamed of. I knew then that if I had the magic pencil, I would use it to draw a better world, a peaceful world. First, I would erase war, poverty, and hunger. Then I would draw girls and boys together as equals. Over the next few years, instead of wishing for a magic pencil every night, I worked hard in school every day. I wanted to be one of the top students in my class. But soon, powerful and dangerous men declared that girls were forbidden from attending school. They walked the streets of our city now. They carried weapons. One by one, girls stopped coming to school. Abba, where are all the students?
They don't feel safe here anymore, Johnny.
How could a few men stop all the girls in our valley from going to school? If more people knew what was happening to us, I thought they might help. Wishing wasn't enough. Someone needed to speak out. Why not me? I wrote about what it felt like to be scared to walk to school and how some of my friends had moved away because of the threat they faced in our city. I wrote about how much I loved school and how proud I was of my uniform. Once I started writing, I didn't stop. I wrote speeches and traveled around my country, sharing my story. I even talked to a reporter from a famous international newspaper. People actually wanted to learn about my life. I spoke for all the girls in my valley who couldn't speak for themselves. My voice became so powerful that the dangerous men tried to silence me, but they failed. And now my voice is louder than ever, louder because people have joined me, and together we make a chorus, standing up for what we believe.
We
Raise our voices for those in need.
help people in danger, even if they are an ocean away.
Think of the world as a family.
Do you still believe in magic? I do. I wrote alone in my room, but people all over the world were reading my story. Millions now know it and help me spread my message of hope. I had at last found the magic I was looking for in my words and in my work. I am Malala. I have always wished I could make the world a more peaceful place, and every day I work to make my wish come true.
One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world.
When Malala Yousafzai wrote The Magic Pencil, she was a senior in high school and heading off to college. She was accomplishing the very thing that she had dedicated her life to opening up for others. Malala is a tireless advocate for the over 130 million girls who are denied access to an education around the globe. As you may recall, Malala courageously started up a blog advocating for the importance of educating girls at the tender age of 11 years old. Her father is an educator, and Malala was raised with an awareness that knowledge is power and that education is a pathway towards equality. Her blog caught the attention of the world and the ire of the Taliban, who sought to keep women and girls in her country of Pakistan oppressed. One day when Malala was riding the bus to school, she was shot by a member of the Taliban. It could have easily been a fatal wound, but Malala had the support of the world and she received the best medical care. She survived, and with her will intact. Malala has a calling to share her story and to do anything within her power to advance girls' education. Malala is not only inspiring, she is humble, aware of her limits, and recognizes the importance of interdependence. As she teaches, it's not one person's job to do this. I can't send all the girls to school. It would be nearly impossible. What is in my potential, I will do that. Everyone has a role to play in this. It's a responsibility we all should realize we can participate in. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that human experiences and our stories can provide a kind of sacred text. In fact, one of our 6 sources of wisdom is the words and deeds of prophetic people, which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. Malala's words and deeds feel relevant to all of us this year as we honor our Bridgers, who we celebrate today as they transition from youth to young adulthood. Each one of us must understand our particular gifts and the tools we have to contribute to constructing the beloved community. Malala Yousafzai's story of a magic pencil is a modern parable for uniting our lives to a path of liberation and healing. When Malala was shot, she was resilient for many reasons, including the fact that her narrative of the world already included brokenness. She was already in the struggle of repairing the world when fearful, violent men tried to silence her advocacy around girls' education. She was also resilient because the world joined with her, and we were one in a communion of the struggle for liberation. We amplified her voice and her message, and we vowed it would not die with her. She is a part of a stream of activists throughout history that stretches backward and forward through time. And of course, so are we. Hallelujah, though, that the gifts of creativity, community, and medicine combined with her fantastic willpower and allowed her to survive and then thrive. She could have allowed the forces of fear and oppression and violence to silence her, but she is called, like we are, to make meaning, to name and grieve what has been lost, and to muster all the courage and creativity that is ours. Through her magic pencil and her clarion voice, we are glimpsing shifts heavenward or towards the beloved community. Every time, girls who were denied an education from the impacts of poverty and war and oppression are in a classroom imagining their own better futures. We too, in this space here, have survived due to the human gifts of creativity, community, and medicine in this time of a pandemic. What will we choose to do with our precious life knowing that we were meant to thrive individually and collectively. What are the unique qualities that live inside of us that can bring more abundant life into being in the world? Let our bridging ceremony today be a reminder to all of us at every age that we are ever changing and ever growing, and yet parts of us remain the same. Today, Malala is also a college graduate and a young woman who has had the chance to explore the social side of that experience and making new friends. When she was in high school, her life was devoted to recovering, to documentaries, and to the serious business of advocacy. Of course, she will always be an advocate. She will always be Ziaudin's and Tor's daughter. She will always be the girl, now a woman, with a pen and a keyboard and a voice to inspire change. How is life changing you? And what do you wish to change? Maybe it's time to pull out a magic pencil or pen and see what emerges on the page and into your life.
Something is stirring, shifting ground, it's just begun. Edges are blurring all around, and yesterday is done.
Feel the flow, hear what's happening, hear what's happening. Don't you know we're the movers and we're the shapers, we're the names in tomorrow's papers, up to us man to show 'em. It's our time, breathe it in, worlds to change and worlds to win. Our turn coming through, me and you, pal, me and you. Feel how it quivers on the brink.
What
Everything
gives you the shivers, makes you think
there's so much stuff to see.
you and me will be singing like the birds.
Me with music and you the words. Tell them things they don't know. Up to us, pal, to show 'em. It's our time, breathe it in, worlds to change and worlds to win. Our turn coming through, me and you, pal, me and you. Feel the flow, hear what's happening, we're what's happening. Long ago, all we had was that funny feeling, saying someday we'd send them reeling. Now it looks like we can.
Someday just began.
It's our heads on the block. Give us room and start the clock. Our time coming through. Me and you, pal, me and you. Me and you.
Me and you,
Me and you.
me and you,
Me and you.
me and you.
Me and you.
The first fellowship service we ever attended was the senior high bridging service. Zoe rested in a baby sling in my arms as your dad and I watched a collection of beautifully articulate strongly loved seniors speak of their experience going through MUF's RE program. It was so moving, I leaned into Daddy and said, "Oh, I want this for our babies."
Well, my son, you're the last of 3 children to graduate through this special program, and next we'll have the privilege of watching your cousin Kyan go through it as well. I feel so fortunate. You and your brother and sister, guided by the strong-rooted principles of Unitarian Universalism, are beautiful people who act accordingly as your first nature. You will certainly move mountains as you choose to. Shine on, sweet, beautiful one.
Our bridging ceremony for graduating seniors symbolizes the rite of passage that welcomes our youth into the rewards and responsibilities of young adulthood. The candle they will carry over the bridge through the labyrinth represents the light they will bring forth into the world. We are grateful to the congregation for your support. You have taught our seniors over the years in their Sunday programming. You have mentored them in coming of age. Some of you have been involved as OWL facilitators. You have supported them financially, told them stories, worked in their classrooms on special projects, and lovingly modeled for them your highest values. We are grateful to the parents of our graduating seniors for being their primary religious educators and for letting us teach them, mentor them, and experience the world through their eyes. We especially want to thank our advisors, Tim Davis, Brooke Donaldson, Laurent Gomez, and Katie James. Please come forward, advisors.
I'm introducing James Mindy. Come on forward.
Owen best, everyone. Owen.
Mr. Ronnie.
So now, our bridgers are going to be companioned by their advisors to the labyrinth.
Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
When a child is welcomed into our community, we offer them a rose on a stem from which the thorns have been removed, symbolizing our desire to protect them from at least some of the harm in the world. That rose represents their unique beauty and unique way of unfolding through life. Today, we're going to give you another rose, but this time with all the thorns intact. For we know that we cannot hold back the hurts and dangers that are an inevitable part of life at every age. And actually, knowing all 3 of you, your life has not been without joy and struggle already. Though life is sometimes painful, we hope that our lifelong religious education community has provided you with the tools to help you cope with thorny situations and to cultivate a garden around you.
This is from your congregation. It is a symbol of our faith, our chalice. May you wear it with pride and joy. It was chosen for you to help you think about all the good things that we wish for you. We're so proud of you. We're so happy that you've been with us all these years. We wish you well on your journey. Ronnie. Owen. James. Blessed be.
The journey you're about to take into the world is life-changing. We have given you firm roots in your journey to adulthood. Now we give you wings to fly.
We have supported you in your religious quest. Please take our shared principles and purposes into the world with you as a guiding light.
Thank you to my parents and this congregation for all that you have done thus far to help us build a beloved community.
While we are entering into a new relationship with one another, let us continue to be a source of support, friendship, and guidance to one another.
May you find your talents and make good friends. May you continue to grow thoughtfully with understanding and love for self and others.
We are blessed to have you as a part of our congregation. May you carry the light of our religious faith of Unitarian Universalism within your heart. May our religious heritage help you plant seeds of love and hope, faith and justice. May you find the strength to create your own inner peace and help carry that peace out into the world.
During my time at Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, the first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of each person, and the seventh principle, respect for the interdependent web of which we are a part of, has really stuck with me. During my youth group classes, I've learned that each person's thoughts and beliefs are valued the same, and we practice being judgment-free. I also learned that you do get better results if you work together rather than alone. And in life, even small actions can have big effects. Follow. The Native American technique, the Three Sisters Garden, is a good example for interdependence. They grew corn, beans, and squash all together. The corn gives the beans a place to grow up towards the sun, and the squash keeps the grounds moist and shaded for the roots.
You want to pick him up?
Yeah, I'm gonna let him eat his treat first.
May you love even though your heart breaks again and again.
May you speak your deepest truths, knowing that they will change as you do.
May you write letters, poetry, biography, slogans, graffiti, the great novel, laying bare your words to love and hate.
May you sing the music within you, composing your own melody, playing your song with all your heart.
May you be brave enough to expose your aching woundedness and revealing your vulnerability.
May you draw, paint, sculpt, and sew, showing the world your vision.
And until the end of your days, may your life be filled with possibilities and courage.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.